So in addition to independent states, we have in Chambers Etymological Dictionary, I'll go ahead and show you the front of this real quick in case you want to pick one up. I got this from Amazon, and it's probably one of the best that I've come across, but it's current and modern, which means that it may not have a lot of the words in it that they used back in the old days. And I like to use things really of the time, but for some purposes, it's good to look at the modern use of a word, not necessarily the modern definition, because definition and use can be two different things. So federal, I really want to look at right here, okay, 1645, pertaining to, you can read that if you want. The sense of relating to, not dictating over, but relating to a government which is made up of, comprising independent states, first recorded in 1707. Okay, so the independent states made the federal government. That's the only way it can be. So the federal government claiming that it existed before the states is neither true nor false, because the independent states created the federal government, and then the federal government created dependent states. So although it is true that the federal government existed before the states, it existed only before the dependent states. The federal government was made of independent states. The independent states made the federal government, and then the federal government made dependent states on the federal lands. It's important to understand this, because then you know when they're talking about state, we need to ask, what state are they talking about? The independent state or the dependent state? I was talking to a friend recently, and I said, it's odd how the Constitution is just vague enough to allow this independent versus dependent states not to be defined, and so easily misunderstood that Lincoln was able, or during his administration, was able to perform a coup and bring in all the states, independent states, under federal control. So when they talk about states and what they can do to the states, they can only mean the states that they created, because what you create, you control. Independent states created the federal government when they joined together, and then the federal government created dependent states, which are the federal lands inside the independent states. Very easy to understand once you get the hang of it. Like, share, subscribe, and have a conversation with your friends, family, strangers, acquaintances about the independent states, which in the Constitution are called particular states, and the dependent states, which are the federal lands inside the independent states. Have a conversation with people about this and make it well known, because this is how you understand where you stand and what your status is or should be.